Oh, we got to let love. Yes, we got to let love. Ooh, we gotta let love.
Darren Hughes and the Queen Street Band. Ho, 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 ho. Hello. How are you today? Oh, it's so good to be here. I can't even tell you. I mean, I loved my time away. For those of you who are here for the first time, I've been gone for three consecutive Sundays, and just got back from the Asilomar conference and from time in Los Angeles with my dad and seeing lots of friends and everything. It was really a great vacation for me. I will tell you, I'm really happy to be back. And I walked in this morning and I said, I have no idea how to do this anymore. I've forgotten in those 3 weeks. So we're gonna just go with the flow today. So a couple of things I want to let you know about. Remember I said I'm never doing announcements again? Never listen to anything I have to say. Actually, listen to everything I have to say. Never say never. No, some things I do want to let you know about, because we are about to start back into the swing of classes and things like that. Labor Day week, the Wednesday, which is the 6th or 7th, I can't remember now, of September, we start our next round of classes, and it's going to start with the class Self-Mastery, which will be on Wednesday nights at 7:30. Note there's a time change. I'm no longer doing Wednesday classes at 7. We're going to do them at 7:30 because shortly, probably in October, I'm going to be introducing a Wednesday night refresh service. That'll be a 6:30 to 7:30, and then class would be immediately following that. So that's going to start up as well. We're also, Helen Valo is going to be teaching The Untethered Soul. That starts a couple weeks after the Labor Day weekend. She's going to be teaching that on Thursdays at 7. Not to confuse you all, but that's the way it's going to work out. Also, we are, Global Truth Network is registering people now for Mental Muscle, which I am the facilitator of, the global online workshop. For those of you who have taken Mental Muscle, you can attest to the fact that it can change your life. And it's a 16-week intensive workshop that is about changing your core belief system. There are postcards in the lobby in the bookstore, so check that out. And I want to also draw your attention. I know Helen talked about it a little bit last week, because if you think I wasn't watching, I do watch. I do watch, and I take notes. No, I'm just kidding. One of the great things about being at the Asilomar conference, which is the retreat that we've gone to as an organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living, for 60 years, this was its 60th year, is the music that we get to experience while we're there. And a lot of these musicians are friends of mine. While I was there, I picked up a whole bunch of their CDs, which we have in our bookstore, and more. There are a couple songs, there are songs that we do in the context of our service on occasion, like, you know the song, So Sacred, yes, this is Erika Luckett and Lisa Ferraro. It's on this CD. If you would like to pick up this CD, it has that song on it. Another song that I've done recently, The Hardest Part of Love, which I did on Father's Day. Oh, this son of mine I love so well, and oh, the toll it takes. That's on the Stephen Mitchell album, which we have available here. Jamie Lula, brilliant musician. He's with Agape and awesome musician, another good friend of mine. There's a great song that I'm intending to bring here, but I might wait till he comes here and does it himself. Called Something's Calling Me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. It's an awesome song. This album, Amy Steinberg, I don't know, how many of you maybe watched the Global Truth Center service when I gave the Sunday talk 3 weeks ago? Amy Steinberg was the musical guest that day, and she sang One Step, and I love the first line. Old-time religion is a box I do not fit in. I am metaphysical, I am transcendent. That song is on this album. Anyway, lots of great albums in the bookstore. I just, And the pitch is over.
Yeah, I just bought a bunch of them.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Jonathan Zenz. For those of you who are here for the first time, I am the spiritual director here. I know, I'm going to call you out, Megan. Megan is here for the first time. Who else is here for the first time? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I love having you here. I love that you bring your consciousness to this community, and this is what this is. This is a community. Part of my shift this past 3 weeks is having a new idea of ministry, because it's always shifting and changing and growing for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Of course, I've been telling people, I didn't really do any notes for today's talk, so I may talk about it, I may not. If you want to know, if there's something you think I haven't covered, talk to me after the service. But we come here every Sunday as a spiritual community, to know one thing and one thing only. And that one thing is that we are divine spirit. That there is no separation between God and the self, because if God is infinite, then we're all part of that infinite spiritual energy. And it's who and what we are. And because this is the case, we get to create extraordinary lives. And that is our mission statement. No, it's our vision statement here at the center, creating extraordinary lives. So are you on board with me to create some extraordinary lives today?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's turn to, let's get out our songbooks. I'm changing it up. Ooh, because I can do that. Helen read this last week, and it occurs to me that I had put this on the cover of the songbook. We're going to read this Ernest Holmes reading on the cover. And I think I'm going to start doing this every week.
Okay, it's funny because this is the first week on the set list. I put Declaration of Principles.
What do you think about Tanis's hair? Isn't it awesome? I love it. I really do. Yes. So let's read.
I feel left out here.
What about Steve's hair? Oh, all right. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Let's take this energy of laughter that we're all experiencing right now. Let's take this energy of joy and let's read this together. I am happy and complete today and forever. Within me is that which is perfect and complete. It is the spirit of all life, truth, and action. I am happy in the certain knowledge of this inner light. I radiate joy and life, for life is within me now. So those are the words of Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of this philosophy. And I've got things to say about him today, too. I got a lot to say today. Are you ready? Because we're going to be here till about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Let's continue down this road of inspiration. I'm going to invite to the lectern our practitioner of the day, Margaret Ann Snyder.
Good morning, everyone. And today is kind of a special day for me. 4 years ago, on this Sunday, my dear friend Hailu brought me here. So it's my anniversary. And thank you. Thank you. And on that day in particular was my birthday, so it was a really good birthday treat. Yeah. Not today. Yeah, thank you. And today is about power. And to me, power is about the ability to change. And that's one of the biggest changes of my life, to come here and to meet all you wonderful people. And I have a reading for you, if I may. It says, "Spirit is the power that knows itself. Whatever that power within us is that knows itself constitutes the part of us which is spirit or spiritual. To be self-conscious is to be a spiritual entity. Mind in its self-conscious form cannot be differentiated from spirit. Mind in its subjective or subconscious state is the law of spirit. Man is a spirit, while God is the spirit. Man is an individual, while God is the universal. But since the individual comes from and is in the universal, it follows that man is a little world within himself. This is what Jesus meant when he said that man has inherent life within himself. The meaning of inherent life is real life, creative life. No limit can be placed upon the spirit of man. It merges with the universal spirit, for the two are really one. God is in us as we are in God. The same essence, the degree apparently different. The one infinite and the other infinite. And since the infinite cannot come from the finite, it follows that the finite must come from the infinite, a little circle within the big circle. Metaphysically, we recognize the universal spirit as the source of all life and inspiration, an infinite self-knowingness, which we grasp only in part, but which is ever available since the infinite is omnipresent. The mind of man is an extension of the eternal mind or spirit, and his evolution is the unfolding of this everlasting mind or spirit through his thought. And the affirmation that I gleaned from that. I know myself to be powerful. My mind is God's mind. And I'm going to say it one more time. I know myself to be powerful. My mind is God's mind. And we're going to say it one more time because I want to.
You are powerful.
I am powerful. And together we say, I know myself to be powerful. My mind is God's mind. And so it is.
Thank you very much. I know myself to be powerful. My mind is God's mind. Really hear that. Say it in your own, hear it in your own voice, in your mind. My mind is God's mind. My mind is God's mind. Given this understanding, it is clear that when we come into alignment with this principle, that our mind is the mind of the divine, our mind is God's mind, then we can trust and know that all is well.
Okay.
And today, in light of that, we're going to do the chant that was written by my dear friend, Reverend Doug LeBeau, the music director at the Global Truth Center in North Hollywood. And he and I came through ministerial school together. It's on page 12 of your songbooks. It's super easy. You're going to catch on real fast, even if you don't open up to it. But take this moment right here and right now to resonate with that concept. There is power in the understanding that our mind is the mind of the divine. That's the truth. So if you feel comfortable just relaxing right into the place you are, and we'll share this chant together. Take a breath. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is.
And I come to this moment with an open heart, an open mind, an open being. And I know that this is a blessed moment of peace, of purpose, of light, of joy, of love. In this moment, I know love. As I accept who I am, I accept that I am well. I accept that I am perfect, whole, and complete. I accept that I am a powerful being, that I am who I say I am, who I think I am, and who I choose to be. In this moment, I allow myself this grace, this opening, this truth to be who I am. In this moment, I am free. And in this freedom, I live to the fullest, to the best and the highest of my abilities. I let it be. I let it be so. I let it soar. I let my life be open and freeing. And I let my heart be free. I I know that there is only one presence, and it is love. And it is here now. It is in me, in my breath, in my body, in the truth that I speak, in my beautiful beliefs that I choose. And I know that all is well because I am God expressing. All is well. In gratitude, I release this to the law of mind, knowing that it is so, knowing that it flows through me as me in perfect order. I release, I let go, I let it be so. And together we say, and so it is.
Here we go. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Just repeat that last line. Life is good, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you very much, Margaret Ann. Something struck me as we were singing the chant. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. I think it struck me because, yes, I talk about the concept of letting go, You can laugh because that didn't make sense in my brain. But I talk about the concept of releasing any attachment to outcome. And for me, that's what that song really resonates with. When we step away from attaching ourselves to an outcome of any given situation, we can trust that all is well because all is unfolding with divine purpose. So I just had to say that. Anyway. Let's turn to the back of our songbooks and let's read together the declaration. Actually, okay, so I did this a few weeks ago. Everybody stand up. We're going to read together the Declaration of Principles, which is a statement of beliefs, a statement of what you believe. And as we read this together, check in with yourself and make a determination. Is this what I believe? Here we go. I believe in one living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. I believe this one manifests itself in and through all creation. I believe in the individualization of the Spirit, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. I believe that heaven is within, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. I believe in the eternality, immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. You can be seated. God is an individualized presence that is expressing as you right here and right now. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. Megan, I'm going to keep calling you because you mentioned it earlier. One of the things that I love about this philosophy is you do not have to be Christian, you do not have to be Jewish, you do not have to be Hindu, you do not have to be Buddhist, you do not have to be anything to really understand this philosophy and to live by means of this philosophy. And you can be all of those things, or any one of those things, and adhere to this philosophy, because it works. We teach two things. God is all there is, and the universe operates based on a law of cause and effect. That's it. So how is cause and effect working for you today? How is it working for you today? Are you living an extraordinary life? I hear some murmurs of yes. That's good. I'll tell you, I am living an extraordinary life. My life became extra extraordinary, if you can. It became extra extraordinary when I moved to Toronto. Okay, so I'm going to mention something about that. Don't let me forget, because I'm going to mention something about that in my talk too. But so we brought this song back that we sang. I don't remember the last time we sang this. A while back, last year maybe. I'm switching to this microphone now. This is the song that actually launched my ministry here. It was sung at that time by my friend Alex Robert Holmes, and yeah, this is a very special song for me. So you'll understand the song when I sing it. So here we go. Here we go. Middle of the night and it's getting so hard to breathe. You can't sleep, can't think, can't hardly dream. Do you feel what the world wants you to be? Open your eyes and just see what the world is. Open your mind and you're free. There's more in this world than we see. Just leave these illusions behind and run with me. If all of the things that you thought you would be pass you by, we'll find what we need in our lives. We'll find what we need in our lives. I spent a lifetime hoping it would come to me, getting lost in the lies I believed. We're covered by a mask that we think is our sin, never realize that the truth is within. Open your eyes and just see what the world is. Open your mind and you're free. There's more in this world that we see. Just leave these illusions behind and run with me. If all of the things that you thought you would be pass you by, what are you hiding from? Is it safe there inside your walls? 'Cause your chance is bound to come if you're strong enough to live at all. We'll find what we need in our lives. We'll find what we need in our lives. Open your eyes and just see what the world is. Open your mind and you're free. There's more in this world than we see. Just leave these illusions behind. Run with me. If all of the things that you thought you would be pass you by, pass you by. There's more in this world than we see. Just leave these illusions behind. Run with me. If all of the things that you thought you would be pass you by, we'll find what we need in our lives. We'll find what we need in our lives. Whew. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, first of all right, so I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to start off with this quote, and you've heard this quote before. This is how Dr. Ernest Holmes used to open his radio show on a regular basis. And this is what he would say. There was this organ music, and he would say, "There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it." There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. The truth is, and I've said this before, we are always using it whether we're aware of it or not. And the purpose for me in my ministry is to teach people, and yes, to teach people how to use it effectively and purposefully in their lives. That is, well, it's not, well, that is the whole ministry. And the way, well, because I have a, whoa, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a boot camp word. I have a global intention. A global intention in my life, this is my global intention, my global objective in life is to eliminate the perceived gap between the human and the divine. And when that gap is eliminated, when we recognize that there is no separation between God and man, between God and anything, then we can purposefully use it more efficiently and not allow our lives to be led by tendency in thought, by habitual thinking that may not be so constructive in our experience. So, I am deeply reminded of this every time I go to the Asilomar conference, which is in Pacific Grove. I always want to say Pacific Beach, but that's actually down near San Diego. It's Pacific Grove, California, which is up near Monterey on the central coast of California. And the Asilomar grounds are absolutely exquisite. The Centers for Spiritual Living have been going to these grounds. Like I said, this is the 60th year that they have gone to these grounds for their annual conference and retreat. And some of you who may have received the email I sent out a few weeks ago, it seems very likely that this will be the last year in that particular space. And it may not be, because now I've listened to the president of the organization talking about it, and I've heard a lot of, it was talked about a lot at Asilomar. Is this the last year? Oh my gosh, what do we do? And it may not be. We may be back in a few years, but ultimately what it comes down to is there is a shifting paradigm within this organization and within this philosophy, and the shifting paradigm is this. Who are we? Who are we? Are we that organization that gets so mired in habit, Asilomar was a habit, that we stop evolving? Because I think what this is a call for evolution. And the organization as a whole is recognizing evolution. Part of that evolution is a deeper understanding for me personally, and you can hold me to this, and please remind me that I said this if we're ever having a conversation and I ever refer to this as my ministry. Because it is not my ministry, it is our ministry. Your very presence here in community is in support of a greater idea, is in support of something that we take into this world and we actively live. And so I no longer think of this as my ministry. And I did for a very long time. And I do take ownership, but I want you to take equal ownership with me in terms of how we present ourselves to the world. That's really what is shifting for me. This is the perfect evolution of this idea and of this center. And let me tell you, I posted on Facebook or Twitter yesterday that there's change in my own mind happening, and it's happening. I mean, we're about to launch into a whole slew of new things, new classes. I'm going to focus less on accredited classes, I've decided. And I'm going to start focusing on basically what I call practical spirituality for the layperson. Because not every single person in here needs to go down that path of becoming a licensed practitioner or a minister. How does this philosophy work for you? And how can you make it work for you in your life? It's great. If you want to become a licensed practitioner, awesome. If you want to become a minister, awesome. But when the focus in the education is only on those things, we've now left 90% of our communities in the dust. And I choose not to do that anymore. So I'm starting to develop new classes. The first one probably will be called Practical Spirituality for the Layperson. Because if you come to class and you don't learn how to use this philosophy, then class is worthless. So that's my goal as we move forward. And this has all been brought upon by my time away. I will tell you, it's good for me to get away once in a while. I know 3 weeks was a very long time. Well, 4 weeks, technically. My last time I was here was 4 weeks ago today. 3 consecutive Sundays. And I also want to honor I want to honor Carmi and Owen, who filled in for me that first Sunday, and I look forward to his ministry. he's a ministerial student in Edmonton. It looks like he's looking at possibly opening a center when he finishes his ministerial. He looks like he's going to be opening a center probably in Mississauga area, starting a new work. And I'll tell you, that is a lot of work. I was there kind of at the beginning with James Mellon when he opened his new work, and it's a lot of work. But I know that he is totally up to it, Carmen. I also, Esther. Absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, I've heard her, I've heard snippets of her before, but sitting down and being fully fed by her in service that day. And I'm sorry I wasn't here for the workshop, but I hear her workshop was exquisite as well. I'm so grateful to her. And then, of course, Helen last week, her fierce grace, and Amy Bishop. We have something great going on here in Canada, let me tell you. One of the things that came up, I was able to do a focus group while I was away for ministers to come and talk to the Home Office about, what we think about our relationship to the larger organization. And I said, one of the things that troubles me is the consideration that the Home Office, the Centers for Spiritual Living, is very U.S.-centric. And I won't stand for it anymore. I won't. Heaven forbid that, somebody in the position of leadership now sees, I won't stand for it anymore. No, because there is a consideration. We get Canada as a country gets left in the dust because they think we're the 51st state, and we're not. And I brought up a lot of issues that I have faced coming here as a U.S. citizen, and then recognizing, it's a whole new paradigm up here, and these are things that I have to think about up here that I was never taught in ministerial school. So I've been thrown into the fire in that regard. But anyway, so that was a great thing that came out of this. Came out of my time away. So part of what I prepared today is just a list of quotes, things that I overheard at Asilomar. And this is the first one I want to talk about. Dr. Arlene Bump, she is the spiritual director at the Fort Lauderdale Center for Spiritual Living, was at Asilomar. It was her 48th consecutive Asilomar experience. You wouldn't have guessed that she had been there 48 times because she doesn't look like it's like, what, you started coming here when you were 2? She said this, and I think that she opened her talk like this. She walked on stage and said, God is the only one here. Don't ever forget it. That's a great affirmation to take with you into your life. God is the only one here. Don't ever forget it. We are having an experience of God right here and right now. As a collective, we have created a collective consciousness right here in this room, and it permeates beyond these walls and goes out into the greater community, and we affect every single person we encounter because of it. God is the only one here. Don't ever forget it. It makes me think of when I first came here, and so many people hated the fact that I used the G word. And it was very important for me to challenge this community with a deeper understanding that when I talk about God, I'm not talking about God out there. God is an idea. God is more than an idea. God is everything. God is not some person sitting on a cloud with a long white beard passing judgment on all of us. You are God. Each and every one of us is God at the level of our expression of it. Think about that. We are God at the level of our expression of it. And what I mean by that is sometimes we forget who we are. And that's when things start to fall apart in our lives, when we forget who we are. And so there's the power. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. When you remember who you are, you powerfully step into an expression of your life. The other thing that it brings up for me, because we wrap this, Ernest Holmes did come from a Christian background, I will remind you of that, and so he uses a lot of Christian phraseology and Christian terminology in his teaching. One of the things that we do teach the concept of sin. And this is how we teach it. Sin is missing the mark. Sin is simply a mistake that we make. And you're not punished for your sins, you are punished by your sins. You're punished by the outcome. That's the perfection of the law of cause and effect. When you make a mistake, there's your cause. The effect is you live the results of that mistake. But you're not going to be sent to hell for eternity because you sinned, because you made a mistake. Well, that's just crazy talk. But I loved this, and I forget who to attribute this to, but sin. Think about sin in this way. Sin is this. Sin is self-imposed nonsense. Self-imposed nonsense. That that got me that day. And I think we were in chapel, right? We were in chapel when we heard that. It was like so perfect, right? In that moment, I'm like, oh, I totally get it now. So awesome. So here's the question that I have to ask. What is Asilomar? And why is it important? Why has Asilomar been so important to this organization? Now, there are two of you in this room besides myself. Fred, have you ever been to Asilomar? You had never been to but Lena and Margaret Ann were there with me last week. And Tony's been there, and Tanis has been there, and Pierre has driven through there in a Camaro. Right?
I've been there and stayed there, but not for a conference.
And Charose has been there. And it's a beautiful facility, right?
Gorgeous. And so that's the first thing a cinema is.
It's gorgeous.
I mean, everything is gone. But
Yeah.
everything is gone.
Yeah, but it feels easier to get in touch with God in a beautiful space like that, right? Well, let's start creating that beautiful space everywhere we go. And we do that by recognizing that we are in touch with God all the time, no matter what. That's why it caught me. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. Sometimes those things, the things that jump out at me, well, they jump out at me, but that's why it's important, because we bring beauty to the world in our recognition of God in all things. Not the God, but God in all things. Is Asilomar really important, though? Is it important? One of the things that got brought up this week was that 60 years ago, 1953, is that right? Yeah, 53, was the first year that they went to Asilomar, and there were maybe 60, 70 people from what was then known as the Religious Science Church. And Ernest Holmes was there. And all of the talks were given in the chapel, and you will understand what I mean by the chapel. There's a large hall called Merrill Hall that holds about 800 people. Chapel holds maybe 150 to 200 people. But if you think about, we have put so much, this organization has put a lot of weight into Asilomar. 60 years of history, and it's where Ernest Holmes spoke. And you know what? 53, Ernest Holmes made his transition in 1960. He went there 6 times. And we've put so much weight into 60 years of history with this concept of it was where Ernest Holmes brought us. And I think if Ernest Holmes were alive today, he would say, why are you still going to that place? There's so much more. You've got the entire world, exactly like Fred just said. You have the entire world to go to. And it's a beautiful place. I mean, you first of all, the ocean, beautiful rocks, the beach, sage dunes. There's the gorgeous dunes and sage growing on the dunes, and these beautiful pine scrub. It's a pine scrub forest. You know, you're walking along the path, and there's a deer. And you walk along, and lots of squirrels and raccoons, and I mean, it's like you're just out there in nature. And first of all, it's like it actually is kind of in the middle of a little town, and you wouldn't even realize it because you become totally isolated while you're there into this experience of beauty. And I think the biggest problem is that we go there to escape what we consider real life. And that's where our organization has gotten into trouble. Who here loves to go on vacation? I'm like, are there any hands that didn't go up? I love going on vacation. And I loved and I am putting it in the past tense now, I loved the Asilomar experience, but I am ready for the next thing. This organization is ready for the next thing. Are you ready for the next thing in your own life? So let's eliminate the Asilomar paradigm. What do you foresee in your life as being the next thing? What is the next step? Are you actively pursuing the power in your life to create and evolve into the next thing? Because I'll tell you what, if you are not actively evolving, what is the opposite of evolution? You are devolving. You are dying. We are here to evolve. We are here to step into the next thing and to have an extraordinary life and to live in a magnificent way. And if there is anything that is in the way of that in your life, take a look at it. Take a good, hard look at it and make a new choice. So sometimes I think I should start wearing a ring because Dr. Frank Richelieu, who was, God bless him, I think it was Frank Richelieu, he used to stand at his podium and he would basically stand here, first of all, and he would shake his finger at people. I've seen him do this. I've seen him speak, and he would shake his finger at people, and then he would hit the podium with this ring to punctuate his points. So it's like that. So, as we step forward in our lives, as we are evolving into the next thing, as we are experiencing life to the degree that we choose to experience it, because everything that shows up, whether we call it good or bad, is a choice in our life. And it's a conscious or a subconscious choice. The problem, I think, is that so many of us are allowing the subconscious to run the show. And you are in charge. Our conscious mind shifts the subconscious. We ingrain new habitual ways of being consciously, but it is work at first. And I say this a lot. It's work at first until you have embodied the new belief, and then it's just living. How many of you have embodied a new way of being since your time coming to this center? And is that way more constructive for you? It's because there is focus and attention put on the shifting of our own mind to a more constructive way of living. Now, there's another thing that, so Dr. Sue Rubin, okay, so I can now attest to this because I have witnesses. I talk about Dr. Sue Rubin a lot, and I talk about the fact that she's 86 or 87 years old, and that she's, she is this powerhouse of a speaker, and you would not guess that she was a day over 60, right? I'm telling you, this philosophy keeps you young. If you are looking for the fountain of youth, hello, you found it. She said this in her talk, Dr. Sue Rubin. If every headline isn't a call for prayer, I don't know what is. And this goes in line with another thing that I talk about a lot. So many of us get into this philosophy and we think, oh, now I'm going to only think the perfect thoughts. And I'm going to eliminate from my experience anything that does not support the perfect thoughts, which means I'm no longer going to watch the news. I'm no longer going to see the heartache in the world. I am no longer going to let myself see that there is war and poverty and famine happening. And yet for me, I have come to a realization in my own life that those are opportunities for prayer. Because if we start to look away from that, it is very possible that in the subconscious mind, we are supporting that by avoiding it. If we put our focus on that which we do not want to experience and pray, and create a new paradigm in mind, we are the point at which God is expressing perfectly. And Ernest Holmes says, one alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. So if you want war to end, put your focus on the opposite of war, but you can look at the news and say, I know a deeper truth, and I know a more expansive truth, and this does not fit that paradigm. And so I choose right here and right now to live the experience of peace. And I know that this expands beyond myself, beyond my limited idea of self, and goes into the world. So everyone that I encounter, everyone that I perceive, lives an experience of peace. But we are the point at which it shifts. We are the point at which it changes. We are the point at which we become that which we seek. If every headline isn't a call for prayer, I don't know what is. Do not fear the news. Because sometimes they actually have good stories too. And I appreciate those times when they actually say, let's tell a great story. And it touches me right now because I've, for the past couple weeks, we've heard a lot about what's happening in Russia. And I try not to get political, but this is something that touches me deeply. And I'm not going to talk about it from my politics, but I do support a change in terms of how we are relating to Russia right now. And I fully, I sent out on my Facebook, I sent out the link to the, what is that thing called? Yeah, to change.org petition. That's what to the petition that I've sent out saying, let's pull the Olympics out of Russia and let's take them to Vancouver. Because even if the IOC is implicitly supporting Russia, they're implicitly supporting what Russia stands for right now. And I don't think that this jives with what we as a community stand for. So there's an opportunity to know something deeper. So I look at that, there's a lesson. I look at that in the news, and I know that there is something that I can do about it, first by praying on it, by knowing something deeper in my own mind about what that is. And then allowing myself to be led to the place where I can do something about it. So, what can you do? You are a point of power. You are the point of power, individualized. You are power embodied. What can you do? Oh, I can't remember how to say his last name. There was Reverend Elzia Sekou, who recounted a great story, talking about this one man who would sit outside the symphony hall. Do you remember this one? I just keep referring to Lena because she's right there in my eye line. There's this one guy, he sat out there and he was playing the violin, but he's playing one note over and over and over again, sitting outside the symphony hall, playing one note. And people would pass by, look a little curious. Well, why? Seems odd. Just kept playing that one note over and over and over again. Finally, somebody came up and stood and addressed this person sitting there and said, "Why are you just playing one note?" The person looks up and responds like this, "Those fools in there are looking for their note. I found my note." What is your note? Do you understand how powerful you are? It is within this concept of power that we can sit back, relax, and just be ourselves. That is your one note. And we live lives of full symphonies, each and every one of us. But what is the note? What is the one thing that may or may not shift it all for you into a deeper understanding of who and what you are? Somebody brought up Emma Curtis Hopkins, who, she's my girl, I love Emma. Came up with this quote. The more we believe in evil, really hear this, the more we believe in evil, the more we find we have to do. I'm often asked, does evil exist? And I say no. Evil does not exist. There is one power. We are that power, and we can use it for constructive or destructive purposes, but evil in and of itself does not exist. And when we decide that evil does exist, we create the perfect recipe for evil to show up in our world. Which is why the more we believe in it, the more we find we have to do. Because when it shows up, you got to do something about it, right? There is one power for good in this universe, greater than you are, and you can use it, and you are using it. The keynote for the entire week was a man named Azim Kamisa. He's a man whose son was killed in gang-related violence in 1995. He was the keynote speaker. He spoke for an hour and 45 minutes on his experience and what he has done about it in his life. Because he is somebody who looked at this idea, the more we believe in evil, the more we have to do, said, this has occurred. My son has been killed, and now I know that I'm in a place of power to do something about gang-related violence in this world. And he's a very, very wise man, because he took it out of the realm of what most people will go to, which is skin color. And I loved, he said this, I don't look at skin color. I look at souls. And then he follows it up with this, and I love this. And everyone's soul is purple. Because purple is my favorite color. Isn't that awesome? One of the things that I'm also doing, I'm hinting around at what a lot of these people have said, because I am going to do a screening series. All of these things are videotaped, and I'm going to do a screening series where I'm going to allow you to have the Asilomar experience right here as soon as they come in the mail, and then I can set up times where we can have screenings of all of these things. Here's the important point. We are active spirit. We are spirit in action, not inactive spirit. We are in action. We are spirit unfolding at all times. And we live based on an idea, change your thinking, change your life. That's another thing that Ernest Holmes said a lot. Change your thinking, change your life. We have come to a deeper understanding. Really, for me, it's now change your belief system, change your life. Because the thinking is based in a belief system, and the belief system is that subconscious part that I've been talking about. So when you shift your belief system, okay, here I am, I hate doing this. Well, actually, I don't hate doing this, but there's the pitch. There's an opportunity to shift your belief system, mental muscle. It's the only purpose of mental muscle, 16 weeks of shifting your belief system. When you shift your belief system, you create something new. Reverend Josh Reeves, 32-year-old minister, see, I'm not the youngest. He's the spiritual director in Seal Beach, California. This was the thing that really got me this week. He said this, we need to be careful to not change from change your thinking, change your life, to change your vocabulary, avoid your life. I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to explain it. We need to be careful not change from change your thinking, change your life, to change your vocabulary, avoid your life. Because one of the traps it's really easy to get into is to lay back and say, all is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go, and not really believe it. And thinking that just saying the words, just shifting your vocabulary is going to change things that may not be going right for you. That's what he's talking about there. I see many people who come in and it's the Secret paradigm. The Secret, the movie, you remember The Secret? I think part of the reason that The Secret did not make a bigger impact, and it made quite a big impact, but I think that The Secret could have shifted the entire world in a magnificent way, and I think the reason that it didn't is because it didn't go deep enough. Because what The Secret basically said is change your vocabulary and avoid your life. It said, if I think about being fabulously wealthy and having $1 million, then it's just going to magically appear. No, this is about actively taking part in shifting your life. Change your thinking, change your life. You must make the change. That change leads to action. Simply laying back into, I'm going to say all the right words is not enough. I know, I see it, Tony. I only have 3 more pages. That's true. I have a lot of time to talk about all these things. I haven't talked at all about the other 2 weeks of my vacation. Another great quote, I can't leap anywhere if I don't leave the ground behind me. You can't get anywhere if you're not willing to let that go. That's Reverend Dr. Joan Stedman. And then I just promoted him, Reverend Bob Luckin, who is a wonderful, very funny minister. He's retired now. He actually just went to South Africa. I think he's in South Africa. Anyway, I went to his workshop. This was not part of the general session. He said one thing also that really, really touched me. He said this: scars, let me say it correctly, scars are a demonstration of healing. They're not old wounds. If you have a scar, it means you have healed. And that's just one of those things that touched me. So, will we go back to Asilomar? I don't know. The thing that I want to know, that I do know, is that I refuse to be stuck in an old paradigm. And that's what came to me this week is, because I had this question a lot, will we return to Asilomar? Possibly. But what really I came to is this, and I posted it on my Twitter feed this morning: anything's possible, and everything is probable. I know, it's making people go, what does that mean? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Everything is probable. If God is infinite, and God is infinite, because now I will explain it. If God is infinite, and God is infinite, that means everything that ever could be, is, will be, was, everything that is probable is happening. Everything is probable. Probable being must be. It must happen. If it's probable, it must happen. Everything that we can experience, everything we might experience is happening. Right here, right now, in this moment. But we are limited in our understanding right here in this moment. So, I think we may be back at Asilomar. I think that there's something new being born of this thing called conferences and events. I hear rumors of a cruise, and you know how I like to cruise. I think it'll be slightly different than the cruises I go on. Oh, we can change that, Fred. I went on, for the first time in my life, I went on a gay cruise in February. The gays love to have fun. You've never lived until you've danced out in the Caribbean on the aft deck, on the aft deck in your underwear. And if you don't think that's God, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. That is God too. Because a lot of people would get very uptight about, oh, the minister was dancing in his underwear? In public? You know what? Try it sometime. You want to talk about freedom? Woo!
That cruise brought me to this philosophy.
It is true. That cruise brought Fred to this philosophy 5 years ago, and it was mental muscle that was being presented on that cruise that brought him to this philosophy. If it were not for our cruise, Fred wouldn't be here now. You never know what you're going to find. So I started off with one of the first things I started off with today was Arlene Bump. God is the only one here. Don't ever forget it. This was also echoed in Dr. Sue Rubin when she said this, and this is a good one, good affirmation. You ready? I am that, you are that, this is that, and that's that. And Dr. Ken Gordon, the spiritual leader of this entire organization, I love to refer to him as the Pope of Religious Science, because he's the big guy. I mean, not that there's any, we're all equal. And he'll be the first person to say, do not put me on a pedestal. And I'll tell you, do not put me on a pedestal. He said this, and he says this a lot: I believe in God and nothing else. If there's one thing to walk away with today, walk away with an understanding that if you believe in God and nothing else, then you are in a place of power. This philosophy, this teaching, this healing paradigm is here for one purpose. Ernest Holmes states it very clearly. The study of the science of mind is a study of first cause. That's God, by the way. study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself. Today, make a new commitment to believe in God and nothing else. Believe in God and nothing else, because this is where I have come to in my ministry. Letting go of any attachments about what this center should look like and trusting that this center is unfolding as it needs to unfold. And we all take an active role in that because this is our ministry, not my ministry. So I invite you on this journey with me. I invite you to move onwards and upwards. Let's leave the ground behind and let's leap into the future. Namaste. So this is the point at which we do our divine givingness, where we offer what it is we have to offer, our gift, our tithe, our investment in our center, whatever you want to call it. What I choose to know is that what you have to give is a demonstration of your understanding. And it is a demonstration when I give of my understanding that there is one power, and that power is God. Money is God. Just like dancing in your underwear is God, money is God, because there is nothing other than that. I believe in God and nothing else. God is all there is. So as you give to the center, you are giving God to God. God is receiving it graciously and gratefully, and you get to bring in more of God into your experience because of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's, as you have what it is you offer today to the center, hold it to your heart, and let's read together on the back of our songbook, the Divine Giving, this statement. I know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I claim an abundance of money to spare and share. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I give thanks for this good. I know that my gift today goes forward to heal and bless. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center and know that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so, I will invite anyone who's watching online, you can make a contribution and participate in the act of giving as well by clicking on the donate button there. But as the baskets go around, we're going to sing God is My Source, which is on page 5 of your songbook. So, and you can get up and dance and stretch and have a good time.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Joy, joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace, peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Love, love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need.
I'll invite Margaret Ann to do a blessing over our offering.
A blessing over this offering. A blessing over this beautiful circulation that is love, that is power, that is grace, truth, joy, the essence of life that flows through each of us. And these gifts are the expression of this joy, this life, this truth. And I am grateful. And I receive gratefully these gifts and this wonderful love for this center. And know that it is used and spent and employed perfectly in alignment with our highest good. I know this in my heart, in my soul, in my body. And there is only one. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret Ann. So this center does not exist without all of you, and I'm grateful to everyone who volunteers to make this Sunday happen every single week. And if you're interested in volunteering, I will refer you to Margaret Ann, who is our volunteer coordinator. She can help you step into a volunteer role. But setting up today, Gail set up for us today. I want to thank Christina and Linda for being our greeters today. And Linda for the flowers. So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much. In the bookstore today, Lorna and our board members, Judy and Carmen. If you want to stick around, for the song, it's one that I don't do very often. I'm just saying, because I know Judy likes to stay for the song. She's like, I don't want to go down and count the money. I want to stay for the song. I want to thank Carrie in the sound booth and Tony, who's ensuring that we get out to the web via our live webcast. I want to thank, I guess they're downstairs, Mahala and Heather. Do we have any kids today? Yes? Yeah, oh, great. So we did have kids today. I want to thank Mahala and Heather, who are downstairs with the kids today. I want to thank the Queen Street Band. And I want to thank Margaret Ann Snyder for your brilliant consciousness, your meditation, your reading, affirmation, and treatment. Thank you so much. So you ready for the next thing?
I have one thing.
Oh, okay.
One more thank you. Linda also brought in a very large vegan gluten-free cake from Bunners to say welcome back. So join us afterward for some really good cake.
Oh my gosh. I'm salivating already. All right. So this song, it's a Daniel Namod song. It's not in our songbooks yet, but it will be. This is about inviting the next thing to show up. And I'm ready. So I invite you to simply relax, close your eyes, and just be right where you are.
Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has has brought me here to the present moment here, to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. And so right here in this moment, I step into the understanding that there is only one power. I have a deep recognition that there is only God. God is the only truth. God is the only power. God is the only energy. God is all there is. And it is who and what we are, each of us, individualized spirit right here on this plane of experience. Each of us is living God's life. Each of us is the power expressed at the level of our individualized nature. And with this understanding, knowing that God is all there is, that this great power is expressing itself by means of us, I step into a deeper paradigm of this expression, knowing that love fills every aspect of my life, and that love is the point at which everyone is having their own experience. I trust and know that pure wealth, pure health, brilliant creative expression, and brilliant relationships are all in harmony and alignment in my life and in the life of every single person I encounter, for I recognize the face of God in every single person I see. I know this to be true, and I simply relax into this knowing. With a grateful heart, I let it be so. As I release this word to a perfectly corresponding law, I know it is done, as together we say, and so it is. Here we go. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in to the deepest part of love, to the deepest part of love, to the deepest kind of life, to the deepest kind of life. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in. Get ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the deepest kind of love,
the sweetest kind of life. To the sweetest kind of life. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. My soul. All right. So let's get ready. Let's take it up a notch, and let's head out of here with This Little Light of Mine, which is on page
25.
page 25 of your songbooks. Thank you all so very much.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Just a spark can light the dark. I'm gonna let it shine. Just a spark can light the dark. I'm gonna let it shine. Just a spark can light the dark. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Won't let fear and doubt blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Won't let fear and doubt blow it out. 'Cause I'm gonna let it shine. Won't let fear and doubt blow it out. 'Cause I'm gonna let it shine. 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 Let it
Now, have a great week, everyone.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.